I know opening night is always a little bit nervy. How was it for you? Good afternoon.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. It was awesome for us. Obviously, a lot of anticipation going to the season, joining the SEC. The guys are ready to go out and play some ball, and I think we had a great time Friday. Showed a lot of good stuff, a lot of stuff to clean up, but overall, it was a great experience.
Let me ask you about the SEC. We spent a lot of time in Norman as it all happened, the official first day, and the fans I know are excited. But as a player, you've got a lot of things to keep in mind. But when you heard that, when you obviously realized you were knocking on the door of the SEC, what was the conversation like in the locker room?
For me, I was actually a recruit when talks of OU joining the SEC. So for me, it was kind of a recruiting piece. I was born in Atlanta, Georgia, lived there for the first 10 years of my life. So I grew up watching SEC football. It's something that I grew up watching those teams. And so for me, it was really special that I knew I was joining a team that was going to be playing the SEC.
And then you went over to Denton, right outside of Dallas, and it all started to happen. So let me get to what is the most important thing, and that's the season. As you got the first game out of the way, you said cleanup. I always hear that from players and coaches. Help educate us who don't know what it's like to be the quarterback at a big time school. When you try to correct the mistakes, what do you look at? Is it in the film room? Is it on the practice field? Where is it?
Film room, first off, just seeing what the mistakes actually are. Um, whether it's missed assignments, missed signals, missed throws, or missed reads, anything like that. You first see it in the film room, know what you need to adjust, and then you go out into the field, whether it's the next day or next couple of days, and you work on those things that you messed up.
Jackson, listen, I'm watching the game Friday night. I didn't see a lot of mistakes. I know that everything it seemed vanilla. I'm watching it from a restaurant, so don't hold me to every series. But what is the game plan for something like that? You're confident. You know, you never know, as we've seen with upsets. But how much more do you think we'll see of this playbook as we get farther down the line here in the next couple of weeks?
Yeah, the playbook's definitely going to open up. It's not that the playbook was very vanilla to begin with for the game plan. It's just Coach Luttrell liked the things that Coach Luttrell liked. I felt like he called a great game, put us in great positions. And I think for these next couple of weeks, it's just us developing an identity, really establishing what we're going to do with this offense. And yeah, I'm super excited for these next couple of weeks to really open up that offense.
Obviously, you came in the bowl game, and now it's your team. When you know this is your football team, does that change your mindset? I mean, there's always competition, but I saw you a couple weeks ago in Dallas, and now on the opening night, it has to be a good feeling to know that you are the guy.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing I think for me this offseason was going into a situation where I knew I was going to be the guy. I knew that all these coaches had faith in me to go out and perform. And I think for me, just building that leadership and the toughness that it takes to be the quarterback at not only a Power Four school, but just at the University of Oklahoma. Just having the offseason to really prepare myself for what I was walking into was huge for me and to build chemistry with my coaches and my teammates.
Obviously, you mentioned your offensive coordinator. Things change every year. The old one left. You've worked with different ones over the. What's it like to adapt to a new coordinator, and especially at the critical position of quarterback?
Yeah, it's different switching from coach to coach. But luckily for me, Coach Luttrell was in our room last year. He was an analyst for us, so he didn't really help. He didn't help coach the QBs really. He might have had some input on some things in the offense, but as a quarterback, he didn't help us a ton, didn't sit with us a ton. But I still knew who Coach Luttrell was. I talked with him a good amount last year. I got close with him, and so for me, having a familiar face to transition to was huge for me. Not a ton in the offense change. Coach Luttrell ran a very similar system back at UNT, and so for him to integrate that into what we did or what I did last year was huge for me this offseason.
Certainly, being from Denton, you had a chance to at least to talk about where the best places to go out to eat in Denton were, I suppose.
Yes, sir.
Let me talk a little bit about what's next because as fans and whatever I am, talk show host, we get all fired up Jackson, about the big games, about what's next, what's the game after that. I know as a quarterback, you don't look ahead. I don't think. Maybe when nobody's around. But how does that work when fans are asking you about a game in Dallas or a game on the road or a game against Tennessee, and you've got a game Saturday that you have to prepare for? How do you just flush out all that noise when you're walking around campus every day?
Yeah, I think for us and for the team is really just focusing on the opponent at hand, and that's Houston right now. Obviously there's people will talk about the OU Texas game and games we have later on, but as Coach V says, the next game is the most important game we have on the schedule. And for us, that's Houston this week. So for us, just locking in on film study, on practice, and just locking into Houston is going to be, a big key for us this game and moving forward too. After Houston we play Tulane, and then after that we play or after that we play Tennessee, and then it just keeps on going. And the next game that you play keeps on being that most important game that you have to play.